Hey Tubies, long time no talk. I am now aware that there is a YouTube Pagan challenge for this year. Totally missed it, so hopefully we'll do as many as we can in one take. So first off was a show and tell of journals and grimoires and stuff like that. I only have my Book of Shadows. I also have a daily journal that I use not so daily, but I do have one. I'm not going to be showing it here. The type of book that I prefer for things is honestly a binder. Binders you can rearrange and reorganize as many times as you feel necessary. So if you have something that you missed out on the first time that you've now noticed, you can slip it in and it's just easier to organize. How do you protect? If you were to look at this properly, you'll notice this is a black binder. I wrote in it with blue pen. So if you hold it up to the light properly, you can see it, but other than that, you can't. I grew up in a household where this sort of thing was you weren't supposed to have this sort of stuff. It was really frowned upon that, you know, I have any sort of item, I guess, related to this, so to my spirituality. So for me, black binder, blue pen. You can inscribe anything you need to in there, and protect it however you feel necessary. And to the unsuspecting eye and untrained eye, if you don't know where you're looking, you don't see it. So it just looks like a normal binder. How do I organize my book? I use a table of contents for my stuff. I actually use my perfectionism to an extent. I'm sorry, I'm sweating, just hang on. Okay, I let my perfectionism kind of go all out. I want it to look perfect. So when I realize that I'm starting to get very, very nitpicky, I will step back. And then it may be a couple days, maybe an hour, maybe a couple of years. I am now going through my Book of Shadows and rearranging it and letting that creative side come out instead of the perfectionist side. So it does take time, but you can cope with both fairly easily depending on, you know yourself best. So if you know that you need to kind of make it seem basically perfect and set up, structured and everything before you can get creative with it, then let yourself do that. Do I have any magical talents? I don't really think about it, I guess. I don't really have titles for it. I definitely am an empath. I've been very, very strong with that. I was able to see auras for quite a while. And I kind of overloaded my third eye a little bit, and turned off quite a few chakras while working in customer service because it was just way too much for me to handle. So I'm starting to let myself open up again and allowing myself to go through the process of being able to see and feel and everything, but customer service definitely screws you up. What kind of divination techniques do I prefer? I prefer oracle cards, personally. I do have runes, but my cat likes to push them off the table or lay on them or move them around, and it becomes a bit of a hassle. And now with a 2-year-old, it's easier just to work with some cards on a table than it is runes, personally. I record my findings both through writing them down and taking pictures, actually, with my camera. I will take a quick picture if I don't have time to write it down. When I'm doing a big year-long sort of thing, I will write it down, and I will write down my interpretation at that time on a different piece of paper so that I can kind of see if I was right in my instinct or not. charging and consecrating my tools. I know some people use the moon and the sun. Some people use whale sounds, actually, to charge their crystals and stuff, which I think is a little interesting. And sound. I definitely agree with having some sort of bell. For me, bell, like, I have a bell that hits just that right frequency and note that for me it's very cleansing. So I will use my bell, and then depending on what type of item that I'm using and wanting to charge and consecrate, I will put it either in the sun or in the moon. And obviously new moon and full moon, those things vary as well. So it really depends on what kind of tool it is. Like if it's a moonstone, I will use the moon. I'm not going to use the sun. I'm going to use the moon. So it really, for me, it varies depending. Where do you prefer rituals? For me, there are no holy sites. There are only sacred places. And if you find a little nook in the woods that you just feel totally enthusiastic about, that you just really need to be in, go for it and make that your sacred place, because we don't know half of anything. I grew up in a lot of woods, and you don't know where necessarily all of these sacred places are. And if it's sacred to you and you're working there, it becomes sacred. There are places like Stonehenge where it's been one site that's been used for a very long time and it's very powerful. But I don't think one place on this planet holds more power than another. When I'm outside, I probably do a little bit different. Outside, depending on where I'm at, I won't sweep the area like I would in my home, and I don't throw around a lot of salts. Depending, I might, but for the most part I won't. Do I work with any particular deities? I think we all have like a basic one that we just go to when we're just doing general work, I guess. And then if we need something very specific, we go to a specific deity. Because I know like some people, when they're working with love, they're going to go for Aphrodite or for a god or a goddess who's involved with love, not necessarily just the god and goddess that they found when they found their practice, who called to them. So I still mostly practice with the main ones that sort of called me out to my path and helped guide me there. So did the universe begin? Will it end? Does it have a purpose? Honestly, I don't know how the universe began. There are quite a few people who follow evolution. There are quite a few creation stories. Some of them are like almost heart-wrenching, and some are really, I don't know. I think we've all heard at least one or two creation stories in our lifetime. And I don't know if the universe will end. Honestly, I don't want it to. But when you look at what we've done to our planet, it seems like it might, at least as far as human consciousness is concerned. Eventually, there probably won't be people left on this planet. And so for us, it will end, but hopefully it actually doesn't. And does it have a purpose? I think each of us have to answer that in our own way. Because if you say, does this life on this earth have a purpose, everybody's going to answer differently. So I think that's really up to you. So that's the first 10. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now. and come back and do the next 10. Probably. I do have to catch up, so I am going to be working quite a bit. But I also do owe you guys a video on the pregnancy and the bump and everything else. So I'm going to go and record that one really, really quickly while baby girl is asleep. So hopefully I've done okay by you guys. So bye-bye and bless!